the markets are digesting it because there was an announcement on unemployment, and the unemployment rates went, way down. Fantastic. Many jobs created, more than anybody expected. And it sounded like great news. But this indicates how the reaction is on Wall Street, depending on dealing with what will the Fed do about it. In an ordinary sense, that if you were in a free market or you had a sensible Fed that knew something, you'd say, oh, there's a lot of employment. This is very good. The market should soar. But exactly the opposite happened. Who knows? They may be back up already. But the initial reaction was for the market to go right down, because the market players, the people who want to jump on every bit of information, they said, oh, the market's doing better. This is good news. So that means, let's see, what does that mean for the Fed? Oh, the Fed will have license now to inflate, because they are a little worried about the prices going up. Oil's up to $92 a barrel, which is something nobody even talked about today. But anyway, the interesting thing, and that was something we want to talk about today, is how the Fed operates. What do they know, and why are their reactions? And then how do the millions and millions of people and billions, if not trillions of dollars being shifted around on one word or one interpretation? And the truth is, the Fed really doesn't know exactly what they're doing, and it's guesswork. And that's also why there's such chaos. And I think one of the basic things, Chris, that they have wrong, and we'll talk about the many basic fallacies that we think exist, and that is the inability to identify with a unit of account. Which means, can you define the unit of account? Most people say, well, what are you talking about? Well, it used to be a long time ago, for many centuries, there was a unit of account, and it was a weight of gold or silver. And the most long-lasting was a weight of gold, and that was the unit of account. And they would measure things, and that sort of settled things and smoothed things out, because there's tremendous number of transactions between supplier and consumers, and how to come together. The visible hand, how does it work? And how do you make these calculations? But you have to have a unit of account. And I always make the analogy that this is like trying to build a skyscraper, and you don't have a unit of measurement, and it doesn't work out so well. So they're trying to build an economy without a unit of account. And one of the most important things on that, of course, would be once you get the unit of account, is what do they charge? What is the interest rate to move it around? So, Chris, I think there's several things that we can talk about today, the fallacies that go on. And I think that's so important. The fallacies are the beliefs they have, the economic beliefs. And we're not challenging the Austrian economists, the free market economists, hard money economists. We're challenging, probably nearly 100 years of Keynesian type of economic interventionism and the declaration that fiat money is okay. That's what we're challenging. But there's been many fallacies that have been preached at our universities, and many fallacies that they practice that leads to this chaos that we have. And the way I see it, Chris, is that it's not just the Fed that messed things up now, because it was this additional problem thrown in with intervention in the economy and the lockdowns and the things that we have talked about on this program for a long time, because that has caused a lot of pain and suffering as well. And, the dilemma that so many people now are talking about, because even the establishment, financiers and bankers, the people who like their largesse nice and smooth and come to them, and that's why they like the Fed. But right now there's an unease because they believe the Fed has lost control, and they can't predict what's going to happen. But I think what they're doing right now, everybody's recognizing this, and they said the Fed is trapped, because the price inflation is there, and they know how big a political issue that is, and the people are reacting to it. And of course, our beef is the people who are reacting are saying, well, the government needs to give them more money because our prices are going up, rather than sorting it all out. So so the Fed, though, said, and they usually refer to Volcker. There was some of the circumstances that happened in the 70s, and Paul Volcker had the guts to come in and make the changes that at that time actually improve things for a while longer. And that was to bring on a recession. So it's always so ironic at this stage, and at the stage it was in 79 and 80, was the purpose of the Fed was to lower prices. And they did that by making the markets weaker, bring on a recession, depression. And they were dumbfounded back then because they called it stagflation. What is that? We were always taught that, if you have inflation, then the employment rate is improved. But they figured we'll just do this, and that will take care of it. But the other thing is, if they don't bring on the recession, then they say they're going to have too much inflation, and these conditions don't exist in free markets, maybe to a minor sense, but you don't have 5, 6, 7 people, whoever's involved in monetary policy. You don't have that, because the assumption that most Austrian economists and free market people say is, how do they know? They don't know what the money supply should be. But we'll regulate it, and we'll figure it out, and we'll calculate it. And we have these charts. We have this equation to work out. It's 17 pages long, and that'll tell us exactly what the interest rate should be. But people are right now, people are losing confidence that the government has the vaguest idea about what COVID is all about. And I think a lot of people right now are saying the Fed are, between a rock and a hard place. And this is what they're struggling to do. They're struggling to try to find out and give us information that they don't have because they don't know it. And that's why the chaos is going to continue, because my prediction under these circumstances is, even though Volcker did it to a reasonable amount of success, he brought on a bad recession, and that calmed the markets down. I don't think they're going to purposely raise interest rates, to purposely have a recession, to purposely put a dent in rising prices. I think they're not going to bring on the recession. There'll be a recession, but they're not going to do it with raising interest. They're going to give in and just keep printing. So the recession will still come, and the stagflation is possible, and you can have inflationary depressions as well. People say, well, if you have depressions, there's low demand, the prices have to go down. But what about Bolivia and Zimbabwe and Venezuela? They have tremendous inflation, but a very weak economy. And the weak economy, did that bring down prices? No, it destroyed the value of the money. So they are in a dilemma. But it'll be interesting to see. Unfortunately for me, I'm fascinated with this because it's psychological. How are they going to react? What are they going to do? What's the market going to do? It is all unpredictable. So you can have a guessing game, but it's not good economically. Let me tell you what we're doing here. We're living on the edge of a very dangerous situation.
Before we continue, help us clicking that YouTube like button and subscribe now to our channel. This shows the algorithm that you valued this information. And it helps us spread that message. Sharing is caring. And now, let's continue.
Do you want to know one thing about crypto? I made over 3,000% in profit in a few weeks. Fact is, the traditional financial system, the traditional money system makes you poor, not rich. If you want to earn $500,000, $1 million, you have to wait until you're 50, 60, 70 in the traditional financial system, and you probably will still be broke. And you will be old. This is not a sexy combination, as you can imagine. But the question is, how can you start in crypto and make these profits? Where to invest? Where to start? My name is Gunnar, and I'm from Germany, as you can hear, and things are a little bit different in Germany. More about that later on. Fact is, there are lots of different cryptocurrencies. It's a gigantic universe where beginners and professionals get easily lost. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. There are 7 key steps you need to follow to become successful in this market. You have to know them, and if you fail one of them, it's literally impossible to succeed in this market. Just an example, one of the key points is your exchange, and one of the biggest are, for example, Binance and Coinbase. These are trusted and well-established exchanges, but, and this is a big but, you won't find the super profitable coins on those exchanges. The unknown super profitable coins that get gigantic profits are not traded on those kind of exchanges. They are traded on much smaller insider platforms that are barely known. And I can tell you what those super secret exchanges are and why they are so profitable. And another super important thing are the right information sources. The point is, the internet is gigantic. There are hundreds and hundreds of YouTube channels, blogs, pages, and much more. And there are also market makers and influencers. For example, Elon Musk, he is not a crypto guy, but the moment he recommended Dogecoin, it went through the roof, to the moon, so to say. But why did he recommend it? Where did he hear it from? He didn't hear it from newspapers. And believe me, he is listening to someone. But you have to know who, and you have to react before he is reacting. This is really important. And these are only 2 of the 7 steps you have to follow in order to be successful in crypto. And if you want to know all of these steps in much more detail, and if you want to have a comprehensive checklist, here's what you should do. There is a link below this video. Click on this link and you will get the opportunity to subscribe to my channel. Click on the link and you will see a video where I explain the next steps. So see you soon. Click on the link now. I'll see you there.